What's up guys, a lot of y'all have been asking for shooting drills, so today we got a whole workout based around shooting. Who better to format our workout off of than one of the greatest shooters ever, Gilbert Arenas.
I put the heat to his face, give him flashbacks to D-Wade!
Whoa, I'm not talking about that kind of shooting though. We're actually talking about shooting with a basketball. In this workout, we will work on shooting techniques that Gilbert Arenas had mastered. This is going to be the recipe for today's workout so y'all can get cooking like Mr. Hibachi himself. Some shooting on the move with conditioning, shooting off screens, and then slow and controlled setups into our shots off the dribble. Just like all of our workouts before though, this will be completely film based. That way I can back up and show you guys real game examples of why and how we use these concepts in workouts to translate to real games. First things first though, like I said, we're going to start out with some film evaluation. I want you guys to pay attention to Gilbert Arenas' footwork here. Agent Zero was really good at shooting off of a 2-foot hop. As you guys can see, both his feet hit the floor at the same exact time before he goes up into a shot motion. So for every single shot that we shot today, we tried to make sure that we followed that same footwork, hopping and landing on 2 feet at the same time before we go up. First drill we did was a catch and shoot shooting drill that I like to call star shooting. In star shooting, you start in one corner, you make a shot, then you go to the opposite corner, make another shot, then you sprint across the court to the opposite wing, make that shot, sprint to the other wing, make that shot, and then you finish off with a shot at the top of the key. It should be 5 makes total. You'll go 3 sets of 5 makes in the mid-range, and then you'll go 3 sets of 5 makes behind the 3-point line. Couple points of emphasis, once again, make sure that you're landing on those 2 feet, and then also make sure you're looking like an athlete. The last thing you want to do when you're playing basketball as a shooter is to be standing straight up and down, not looking like an elite player. Coming up next, we got shots off the curl in both the mid-range and behind the 3-point line. This again is something that we went over on film that Gilbert Arenas was really good at. Talked about how he popped and exploded off the ground, but also was able to get his shoulder squared to the rim before he goes up into his shot. A lot of that seems like common sense, but actually it's not. Even if it is common sense, if you make sure and key in on those little details before you shoot, every rep will be intentional instead of just going through the motions, doing the same exact movements into every single thing. I tell my players this: focus on the movement, don't focus on the shot. Is this drill working on shooting? Sure. What it's really working on is body position and the ability to get your shoulder squared to the rim coming off of a screen that's really fast, which actually surprisingly is a skill that very little basketball players have. That's why a lot of the time bucket getters don't actually translate whenever it's time to play real basketball, because let's be honest, aside from the top 0.1% of the world, you're not allowed to dribble 15 times before you shoot. You'll go 5 makes off of the mid-range, then 5 makes off the 3-point line before you flip sides and do the exact same thing. After this, we got into some shooting off of flare screens. Again, make sure you're popping off of both feet, and this was actually a point in the workout where my guy Noah began to struggle a little bit. His flow was just a little bit off and he wasn't able to get a good rhythm. So at this point, I brought him over to the TV and we actually watched some film, but not over basketball like you might think. I showed him an animation of a pogo stick that I'm going to put over the screen now. I was explaining to him how actually this pogo stick and us as basketball players shooting the ball is very similar. For example, in a pogo stick, there's the pogo stick itself and then there's the spring inside of it that allows for the explosiveness. As shooters, our body is the pogo stick, but the basketball itself is the spring inside. As you'll notice in this animation, the spring and the pogo stick move down and up at the exact same time, flowing in one motion. Now here's where it gets deep. If the spring and the pogo stick move in opposite directions or not in sync, the pogo stick would be non-functional or broken, like some of y'all's jump shots. So what does this mean? It means for us as shooters, the ball or the spring needs to be moving in flow in conjunction with our body, the pogo stick. This way everything is fluid and in one motion, going down at the same time and coming up to a high release follow through at the next. Now that I'm done nerding out on pogo sticks for the video, next thing we did was shooting off of ball screens where the defender goes under. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you consider yourself a pretty good basketball player or you're trying to get good. So if a defender ever goes under the ball screen, you have to shoot it, especially as a guard in today's game. But that's exactly what we worked on. Once again, pogoing off the ground off 2 feet into our shot. And then last but not least, we worked on something else that Gilbert Arenas was really good at, just slow and controlled, deliberate dribble moves, looking for the defender to slip up for even a step so you can pull up right in their face. For Gilbert Arenas, he was really good at continuous between the legs into either a jump shot or a drive. So that's partially what we worked on. I would have my hand up. The moment that I dropped my hand, Noah would shoot the ball because that was his opening. The 2 biggest tips that I would give for this section of the workout are 1, let the ball hang between each move, that way you have more time to read the defense, and 2, look for even the slightest movement in the defense, whether it's them dropping a hand, dropping a foot, or even where their eyes go. I promise you elite scorers are paying attention to these things, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, it doesn't matter. That's going to be the end of today's Gilbert Arenas shooting workout. A lot of it is common sense, but remember, consistent common sense is code for intentionality. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, and also be sure to go check out the other workout videos on my channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JordanWalton11, and on TikTok and YouTube at House of Handles Training. Let's keep grinding.